Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the world's greatest race course. It's the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and it's the second weekend of the 2020 Battery Tender Mazda Global MX5 Cup presented by BF Goodrich Racing Tires. There you see a live look down the canyon, the front straightaway, and there you see our field of drivers and cars ready to present to the track for the third round of the 2020 racing season. And boy, has it been a wild one. It's been just plain different. But one thing that isn't different is what it feels like to roll in here to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Whether cars are racing around the oval or here inside the International Grand Prix circuit, it's always something special. And unfortunately, while there are no fans here inside the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, there's a lot of excited drivers, teams, crew members, family, and friends ready to compete. We've got the Road to Indy on track as well this weekend, drivers and teams in Indy Pro 2000 as well as the Cooper Tires USF 2000. But here today, right now, round number 3 of the Battery Tender Mazda Global MX5 Cup presented by BF Goodrich. There you see drivers and teams starting to prepare to go racing, cars snaking their way out of pit lane behind the MX5 Cup safety car driven by Gail Truess. I got to say, myself and Michael Morris were able to take a ride yesterday afternoon with Gail in the safety car before one of the Road to Indy races. And let's just say, if you think the racing here in MX5 Cup is exciting, you should just sit in for one of the pace laps because it's darn right exhilarating. Gail gets after it. But these MX5 Cup drivers got to warm up their tires, warm up the engines, the brakes, all of that. Because when we throw the green flag on this one, folks, there's no messing around. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for race 1 today. Gresham Wagner, who had a impressive weekend at Road America, but nobody had anything for Robert Noaker. There's no getting around that. He went 4 for 4 P1 practice qualifying. Race 1 and race 2. The young man from Pennsylvania recently just got his driver's license. I'm hoping to get mine reinstated here soon. Wagner is going to start on pole for this one today. Michael Carter, the driver from Georgia in the 08 for Carter Racing Enterprises, lines up on the outside of row number 1. Jared Thomas, the only driver to hail from the great state of Indiana, in the number 96, the scholarship shootout winner, starts 3rd, while Celine Roland, former Rookie of the Year, starts 4th. Robert Noaker, championship point leader and dominator of all things MX5 Cup, will start in the 5th position. Matt Dirks rolls off 6th. Nico Rieger, former series champion, 7th. Robert Stout, 8th. Todd Lamb is 9th. Zach Lee rounds out your top 10. 11th will be Jackson Robillard. Alex Bashura starts 12th. Peter Enzer from Atlanta Speedworks rolls off in the 13th position. Maverick Racing sees Justin Piscatel take the green flag in 14th. Brandon Collins is 15th. Brian Hickson, Luke Oxner, John Giesbert, Liam Snyder, Kevin Conway, and Brandon White round out your field of drivers here. 21 strong for the third round of the 2020 Battery Tender Mazda Global MX5 Cup presented by BF Goodrich. There you see drivers making their way back off the oval in the south end of the racetrack. Out of 12 now, coming through 14, middle of the pack, rolling through the left-hander turn 13, 14 corners, just under 2.5 miles here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. They're going to get one extra lap of warm-up here as drivers snake up and down the front straightaway, putting just a little bit of extra heat in those BF Goodrich racing tires. So again, Gresham Wagner and Celine Roland both start inside the top 5. That's a strong week 2 performance for Nathaniel Sparks and his newly founded team, Spark Performance. When you're looking for that extra spark, call Spark Performance. Gresham Wagner sitting P1 on the time charts after qualifying yesterday. Remember, it's the second quickest lap from qualifying, sets the grid for race 2. Shout out to driver steward Tom Long for filling me in with that useful piece of information. And that means for race 2, when we get going, second place starter Michael Carter will actually sit on the pole, and championship point leader Robert Noaker will roll off. But that's race 2, round 4. We're talking right now about round 3 and the first race of the day. Busy day of racing, busy week of racing here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Drivers had the chance to practice and qualify yesterday, and then it is both races crammed into, what day is it, Friday? I think it's Friday. Yes, it's Friday here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There you see the field making their way out of the chicane. Turns 5 and 6 down Holman Boulevard, which runs parallel with the front and back straightaway here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Again, Gail Truess in the Mazda MX5 Cup safety car. Our registrar, Gail, is also in the passenger seat. So that's Gail squared in the pace car right now, bringing the field around, waiting to see the green flag. IndyCar chief starter Aaron Likens is in the flag stand ready to throw the green flag on this one. 45 minutes for round 3. Gresham Wagner, Michael Carter, Jared Thomas, Celine Roland, and Robert Noack, your top 5. Spoke to Nathaniel Sparks, the team owner of Spark Performance, the guy who sets up Gresham Wagner and Celine Roland's cars. He said the big thing here at IMS, setting your car up, getting the balance just right to go through those S's at the end of Holman Boulevard. That's turn 7, 8, and 9. It's a very quick left, right, left complex of corners, and the car has to feel right to get down to the inside, to grab the curb, get back over to the inside of the track, set up for the next corner, and then you do it all over again. But also another big part, that long front straightaway, getting the right drafting partner and executing a pass before coming down into turn 1. Folks, it's been a long break, but MX5 Cup Racing is back. From Road America to Speedway, Indiana, it's time to go racing. Round 3 of the 2020 Battery Tender Mazda Global MX5 Cup presented by BF Goodrich. And isn't that a beautiful sight right there? The field snakes their way out of turn 14, down nice and low on the front stretch, waiting to see the green flag over the yard of bricks. Here we go. Aaron Likens, what do you say? Let's get it on. Green flags in the air, and it's a drag race, 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, all the way down into turn number 1. And if you know anything about IMS, this front straightaway is very, very long. Here they come, jumping on the brakes, hard on the binders. Wagner's going to lead him through 1. Looks like Jared Thomas is going to pull up, try to make something work on that inside. But once you get to turn 2, he's back on the outside. So Wagner leads them through 2, now 3. They'll head for the second right-hander, turn number 4. Pole sitter Gresham Wagner. And it was actually third-place starter Jared Thomas who did use that inside line to his advantage. They hit the chicane through 4 and 5. I'm sorry, through 5 and 6 now. It's single file through the top 3. Looks like Gresham Wagner, Jared Thomas, Michael Carter, Celine Roland. Then it's a drag race for what would be the 5th position. Robert Noack pulling up to the high side, trying to make something happen as they go down Holman Boulevard. They get on the brakes. They roll through 7. Everybody pretty single file. This gets a really narrow part of the racetrack right here. Great shot right there from the IMS cameras, as you see just how quick you have to set back up through those S's from 7, 8, and 9. Field comes out of 10, and they'll make their way back up onto the oval. This is the short chute that connects oval turns 1 and 2. There you see them right there exiting the infield portion of the racetrack. There's a great shot. That camera's just above oval turn 1, shooting down into turn 2. Field comes out of 12. Now the left-hander, turn 13. And just like that, first lap is in the books here in round number 3. And it's your pole sitter, Gresham Wagner, making the most of the inside row 1 starting spot to get out in front, even though it was a drag race. But you better keep your eyes on Jared Thomas in that number 96. Remember, he is the beneficiary of the 2019 Mazda MX5 Cup Shootout Scholarship. And he is making the most of it. He had a solid weekend, got out of Road America with a podium. Now he's going to go to the bottom and look for the lead on the inside of 1. No, Wagner's able to defend. Wagner threw a defensive move. All good, though. Kept Thomas right behind him. Jared Thomas did a great job in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, of biding his time. You think about it, these are long races, folks, and Road America is a long lap, okay? So if you're going to make a move, you can easily lose that spot later on in that exact same lap. Thomas did a really good job in Wisconsin at managing his time. And I think this is the trend you see in MX5 Cup racing a lot of the time. These are long races, and things can get, I mean, with such evenly prepared race cars and drivers of such high skill level, these guys could be going door to door every single lap. But here's the thing, and again, this was from a conversation I had with Tom Long right before we went green in race control. You've got to manage your tires, okay? It's a long race, and these BF Goodriches, they'll take a lot, but you can't abuse them, all right? So they've got to be smart here in the opening laps. Heck, this is only lap 2 right now, and you already see these guys running nose to tail. The first 4 or 5 rows are still hooked up right the way they qualified. Field comes out of turn 11 onto the short chute. They'll set up for that right-hander, turn 12, and then snake back. They got to get back to the right-hand side of the track to dive into the left-hander, turn 13. Wagner is great through 13 right there. He pulls maybe a 2-3 car length advantage on Jared Thomas, but let's see what it looks like down the front straightaway here, because this is where we saw Thomas really reel in Gresham Wagner at the end of lap number 1. So the field comes down, and watch out, because Jared Thomas has got a lot of help from Michael Carter right behind him. Those 3 are nose to tail. It's Wagner, Gresham Wagner, your leader. Thomas looks to the outside. Michael Carter in 3rd. And Wagner is just bottom feeding right now. He is just staying down near the inside pit wall. We call that catfishing because he's down on the bottom. He does not want to let anybody get an inside look at him at the end of that long front straightaway. Field is now hooked up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars running nose to tail. And then it looks like Robert Nowaker might be dealing with one of the Atlanta Speedworks cars. Yep, that's Todd Lamb, number 84, the ambassador this season for Lemons of Love, the official charity of Global Mazda MX5 Cup Racing. And, Todd, don't call him old. Call him seasoned, because he sure knows his way around Mazda MX5 Cup Racing. And he's seasoned. I'm telling you, he's seasoned. And he can keep up with the youngest and the fastest and the best of them, because that's what he's doing right now. He's hooked up right behind the rear bumper of Robert Nowaker, the freshly licensed 16-year-old, which means he can race at IndyCar sanctioned events. That's pretty cool. But now he can drive down the street and get Dairy Queen. Those are both cool things. And Todd Lamb's giving him fits right now as they battle for the 6th position on track. Field comes back into the infield. Wagner might have dropped a left rear tire there. A little bit of dust getting kicked up in the infield. And all that does is allow Jared Thomas and Michael Carter to get right back up behind him. That could be big. If Wagner did have a little bit of a wide exit out of turn 12, that could really hurt his straightaway speed here. And this is the closest Jared Thomas has been. He's got Carter right behind him. They hug the inside pit lane wall. Gresham Wagner stays right down on the bottom. He's not going to let anybody get to the inside. If you want to pass him, you're going to have to go around the outside in turn number 1. Thomas gives it a look. He can't do it. Not yet. He stays behind because that inside of turn 1 is so flat, so tight. You've got to work so hard to carry all of your momentum through there. And that's if you don't have someone down there on the inside lane. So Thomas is really going through some tough sledding right now at the end of that long front straightaway, because, boy, he's got the straight line speed. They've got that thing moving down the straightaway, but you can't make a pass in turn 1 down on the inside when you've got a car parked at the apex where you're trying to go. So they come down Holman Boulevard. Let's take a look here. Is that Nowaker taking a look on the inside? I believe it is. That's Nowaker on the inside of Stout. Robert Stout for White Racing scored a victory here back in 2017 when he was driving for McCumbee McAleer Racing. He split victories that weekend with eventual series champion Patrick Gallagher. The year was 2017, and life was a lot simpler. Robert Stout now in a different car with a different team. He's with White Racing in the number 3, and he finds himself battling with another Robert. It's Nowaker. They have not swapped positions yet. This would be the battle for 5th position. Field coming back into the infield out of 12 through 13. Man, Wagner is so good in these infield sections. He really seems to gap Jared Thomas. And like we said, Nathaniel Sparks, his team owner, Wagner's team owner, that is, talked about, you got to have the car set up really, really well to get through the S's at the end of Holman Boulevard. That's 7, 8, and 9 as Carter is right up the tailpipe of Jared Thomas. You know, I'd like to say something dramatic like, they better be careful or Wagner's going to drive away. But we've seen it time and time again in MX5 Cup racing. The leader just doesn't get away. You know, this isn't boring racing. This is very close stuff. And Wagner might get a good lead for a few corners. Heck, he might even get away for a lap. But at a track as flat and as technically challenging as IMS, and with these long straightaways like the one they're about to get on with Holman Boulevard and then the front straightaway, the draft plays such a big role. You know, nobody's going to get away. If Wagner checks out, he's by himself. Now we see Celine roll on, that bright neon striped nose, pull out for just a second, takes a look on Carter. He's much too far back to make that pass work. But that doesn't mean he's going to stop from trying. Right before this race, I saw both Michael Carter and Celine roll on, and I said, guys, believe in yourselves. And I think Roland is taking that to heart right now as he is rolled up on the back of Michael Carter. And, you know, Celine's dad gives me a hard time because, you know, we're always playing up the drama between Roland and Carter. But in, what was it, 2019, I think Carter and Roland had magnets in each other's pockets, and they kept finding each other. This year it's been a little bit cleaner. It's been a little bit more above board. But, boy, 2019, those guys found each other on track quite a few times. But here's the benefit of Mazda MX5 Cup Racing being sanctioned by IndyCar. Just like the road to Indy, MX5 Cup gets the benefit of being sanctioned by IndyCar, and you get IndyCar personnel. I'm sitting right next to race control at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You've got the same group that officiates the Indianapolis 500 watching over this Mazda MX5 Cup race right now. And on top of that, I mean, with the exception of Keith Dalton, but with the exception of that, you've also got the AMR IndyCar safety team that is positioned around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, ready to respond to any incidents clearances and get to these drivers and the cars. Roll on down to the inside in turn 3. He gets jiggy with it on Michael Carter. Roll on, trying to make something happen. Roll on into P3. So good move right there for Celine Roland and Michael Carter. Those two found each other a lot. They find each other again here inside the infield of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But they make a clean pass right there. We don't have the public address system turned on here at IMS this weekend. That's a good thing, because if Celine's dad could hear me right now, he'd probably try to strangle me. Roll on now down to the inside as they make their way off of Holman Boulevard through 7. Now the right-hander, turn 8. They'll run up the hill that isn't there to turn number 9. Wagner and Thomas are enjoying this battling behind them, because while I said that you don't really check out in Mazda MX5 Cup racing, what does happen is if guys 3rd, 4th, 5th on back start battling, well, 1st and 2nd, they get to just focus on hitting their marks, and they're driving away. There's a live look at cars a little bit farther back in the pack as they make their way out of turn 11 onto the short chute, working back to catch our leaders now. Good-looking field of cars. There's battles all throughout the field here. Let's check in really quick with the rest of the top 10. Stout is 5th. Lamb is 6th. Noaker 7th. Dirks is 8th. Rieger 9th. And Peter Enzer is in the top 10. They make their way down the front straightaway. I'll give it to Gresham Wagner. He's making this one pretty smooth sailing right now. But, folks, we've still got over 30 minutes to go in this race, and that's longer than my last relationship. So I think that with 30 minutes to go, you are going to see a lot of racing. Now, who's this? Roll on, looking to the inside of Jared Thomas. It worked for him on the inside of Carter. He's going to try to go bottom shelf on Jared Thomas here. That was on the inside of turn 1. Nothing happening yet. Nothing happening there. But, boy, Roland has let Jared Thomas know that he's there. Remember, Roland shares a lot in common with Jared Thomas. They are both scholarship shootout winners, and that's how they've made their way on to the Global Mazda MX5 Cup Series. Looks like a spin out on track, perhaps the 77 of Luke Oxner, we're hearing, the white racing driver out of Greeley, Colorado. He resides in Windsor. The shop is in Greeley, and Oxner, they've had just a tough start to 2020 with some communication problems. Their ND2 car showed up in Wisconsin actually as an ND1 machine, and then they finished the conversion here. Thankfully, I believe it was Copeland put Luke in a ND2 car so he could compete for points and contingency at Road America. But they got here to to Indianapolis this weekend, and the ND2 car from White Racing was finally prepared, which was great. But it sounds like, I haven't seen the incident, but it sounds like Oxner going for a spin last time by somewhere in the infield. So, unfortunately, race 1 this weekend not going to his liking, but unfortunately that seems to be Luke Oxner's anthem. Field coming out of 14. Noaker needs to be careful here. He he's in jeopardy of losing the draft. There's one of the Atlanta Speedworks cars. I believe that's Peter Enzer coming out of his pit box after receiving service from Brian and the guys. I believe it's Brian Zellner's birthday today. Yeah. Longtime mechanic and big-time member of the Mazda MX5 Cup Series. Facebook told me it's Brian Zellner's birthday today, and 21 has never looked so good on that young man. So happy birthday to Brian. Field coming out of turns 3 and 4 now. Boy, roll on right in the middle of a very fast pack of MX5 Cup cars. Over the curbing in 5, off the curbing the right-hander in 6. You get onto Holman Boulevard. You got to cross back over to driver's right-hand side because you're about to throw it into a left-hander. Then it's a right, then it's left. You just never stop working here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Great shot of the lake and the last couple holes at the Brickyard Crossing Golf Course here in the infield of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. If you've never been to IMS, folks, what are you doing with your life? And also, this track is so big that you can fit half of a golf course inside this facility and still have a racetrack. So that's just a little bit about IMS. Field making their way out of 11, onto the oval. They'll set up for the right-hander 12. You come off of the short chute here at IMS right there. Then you get back onto very flat right-handed turn 12. Snake back over, set up for 13. And you want to be careful how much you use the curbing here. IMS's road course is obviously world class, but these MX5 Cup cars very sensitive in everything they feel on track. So you want to use the curbing when it's beneficial to turn the car. But in some of these longer arcing corners, like turn 13, for example, that left-hander, the second to last corner, running the curbing doesn't really benefit these drivers. It honestly only can upset them. Now, roll on, pulling out to the high side, and everybody goes looking for opportunities down the front straightaway. Oh, boy! It's a yard sale down at turn number 1, and positions are up for grabs. Who's going to come out with the lead? It looks like Wagner was able to survive, but I didn't think he was going to. You had Thomas, I think, looking low. Celine Roland looking high, and now it's 2 by 2 behind race leader Gresham Wagner. How about that? Man. Look at that, a little bit of dirt tracking through the chicane, bringing you onto Holman Boulevard. Todd Lamb getting up there. He's going to go to the bottom. He's got Michael Carter to his high side. They're going to try to go 3 wide with Celine Roland. Wagner is just trying to figure out where to put his car to defend. Everybody sorts themselves out. Lamb to the inside of Carter in 7. Lamb is there. He's through. So Lamb around Michael Carter for a position, and Wagner is loving this. He's looking in his mirrors, and he's saying, you guys go for it, all right? I don't care. Race each other. Go side by side. Look high and low, because Wagner is just hitting his marks, right? He's able to just check out and do what typically you don't do in MX5 Cup racing, and that is make moves. Now Carter back to the inside in 12, looking on the inside of Todd Lamb. Can Carter get it done? Little bit of contact. Noacre also gets around, so Carter around Lamb, and it's going to be Robert Stout in the white racing number 3. You know how I know that's the white racing car? Because it's pure white. There is not a drop of any other color on that car, which makes it easy to distinguish. Shout out to Bruce White and his guys at White Racing for making that car so easy to distinguish. Boy, look out, Gresham Wagner. he's got himself a country mile lead here so far in this one. That's the biggest gap we've seen easily so far in this race. Checking in on the clock. Guys, I'll tell you what, MX5 Cup racing, what a bang for your buck. Because this racing is so good right now. We still have a lot of time to go. So it looks like the incident between the 68 and the 77, that was what caused Luke Auctioner to go around, and it was actually the driver of the 68 receiving a penalty, and he will have to drop behind Luke Auctioner in the number 77. Just to break it down for you, that's John Giesbrecht in the 68. I get that name wrong every time, and I apologize. What is it? Giesbrecht. So John Giesbrecht in the 68. And the 77, that incident was reviewed, and the 68 is going to be ordered to drop back behind the number 77. That's what I'm saying, folks. Race control here with MX5 Cup. Same folks that officiate the NTT IndyCar Series, and they don't miss a lot. They're a really good group of officials, and MX5 Cup racing is kept safe, most of all. That's the first concern, and then it is kept very, very fair. Speaking of fair, how about the preparation of these race cars? The guys and girls at Fliss Performance down in Daytona Beach, Florida, took over for Glenn Long and his team at Long Road Racing. And, man, do we sure miss Long Road Racing, Glenn and his family. We still get Tom in the race control room, so we're lucky there. But Long Road Racing, the longtime constructor of Mazda MX5 Cup cars, stepping out of that role at the end of last season. But we're lucky for Todd Fliss and his guys down in Daytona Beach, Florida, for stepping up and partnering with Mazda as we see a drag race with Jared Thomas and Celine Roland heading down. Or I'm sorry, that's Todd Lamb and Jared Thomas. Celine Roland is way clear. Celine Roland is clear in second place. Now it's Jared Thomas and Todd Lamb side by side down into turn number 1. Thomas is going to hold on to the position, but Todd Lamb is going to go around the outside of Robert Noacre. Can he hold the position? Jared Thomas drops the right side. BF Goodrich's in turn number 3. Oh, Carter looking down to the inside. Carter took a look. Todd Lamb slams the door, says, no soup for you. Lamb holds on to the position. Carter has to stay behind as they make their way over the curbing, off the chicane, down Holman Boulevard. And Wagner is just driving away from him right now. Still over 25 minutes to go. You might be looking around and going, Tony, what's all this great racing cost me? Nothing. It costs you nothing. This is world-class, awesome wheel-to-wheel racing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and you don't got to pay a dime? Oh, I don't believe it. Gresham Wagner, he is waiting for this race to see the white flag. He wants this stuff to be done, but I don't. Still over 25 minutes to go. Wagner goes purple, minute 41 flat. He's your quickest driver on track. Let's take a look at that race record that I do believe Patrick Gallagher set here. Man, Sunday Group Management coming through with the notes. What do you do? What do you do? Patrick Gallagher race lap record here at IMS, minute 44.1. Minute 44.1. Leader's going minute 41 flat right now. We're almost about to break into the minute 40 bracket And that's that work of the ND2 and Mazda and Fliss and Long Road Racing all putting together a really fast and a really competitive car. We are out here crushing lap records. I think even your slowest car on track right now is quicker than the race lap record here. It is. Minute 44.2. Yeah, last place running car on the track right now, minute 44.2, is still quicker. Oh, no, he's a tenth of a second behind the race lap record. So, I mean, that's close, though. That's close. He should still get a cigar for that one, I think. Field coming out onto Holman Boulevard off the chicane. Boy, Gresham Wagner, he's making me look like I have no idea what I'm talking about because he has a full-sized lead over the rest of the field right now. And then Celine Roland actually is looking pretty solid himself, sitting in P2. There's a big gap, but folks, do not expect it to stay like that for long. I would tell Aaron to not start writing her race report just yet because this kind of lead is not going to stay for very long. Just now at 25 minutes to go in round 3 of the Battery Tender Global MX5 Cup presented by BF Goodrich. Oh, Roland getting a little dancy on the exit of turn 10. He drops the left side BF Goodrich's, but whether it's on the pavement or on the grass, BFGs keep you going in the right direction. Pete Calhoun did not ask me to say that, I promise. Gresham Wagner driving away from him right now. Let's see what his lead is going to be this time by. Let's check out how they look. As Wagner is out in front, minute 41 flat is his best time. Last time by was a minute 41.5, and the deficit was 1.4 seconds last time by. That's an uncharacteristically large lead for MX5 Cup racing. But like I said, we're still outside of 20 minutes to go. Do not expect that lead to stay that large. Although Nathaniel Sparks, he's fine with it. Sparky's got his 2 cars from Spark Performance running P1, P2. Remember, it was Copeland at Road America in Wisconsin that dominated Copeland, and Nowaker had a fantastic weekend, and they got out of there P1 every single session. There's no other way of getting around it. Field making their way through the infield. That's the north end of the racetrack. Let's check in here. That's Michael Carter, it looks like, and Celine Roland in the number 13. Oh, they're hopping curbs right now. Nowaker trying to get a spot away from Michael Carter. That's the battle for 5th on track right now. There's 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Here's 5th. Nowaker putting a little bit of a tire rub on Michael Carter's right side door as they head down Holman Boulevard. Who's going to break first? Carter's got that inside line. Nowaker has to give way because this is such a flat racetrack. Whoever has the inside line heading into a corner here on the Grand Prix circuit at IMS is going to live through that corner. And if you're on the outside, you can live, but you have to give a little bit of ground. Nowaker slots back into 6th place. Robert Stout is behind him. Remember, Stout picked up a victory here back in 2017. June 16th was the day of that victory. He's trying to do it again. He's got a little bit of work to do. Nico Rieger, the 2018 Series champion for Slipstream Performance, runs 8th. Matt Dirks, another white racing driver, is 9th. Peter Enzer rounds out your top 10 with Atlanta Speedworks. Piscatel's 11th. Robillard 12th. Zach Lee sits in the 13th position. We saw Zach Lee last night at dinner outside of a Speedway establishment, tacos and tequila. Zach was enjoying the afternoon, and he's running 13th right now. Bashir is 14th. Brian Hickson rounds out your top 15 here as we near 20 minutes to go in round 3 of MX5 Cup racing. Minute 41 flat. Really good lap. Next quickest driver, Todd Lamb. How about it? The number 84 from Atlanta Speedworks, minute 41.026. Wagner is a 0.10. Less than 100th of a second separating those fast times right there. And Todd's back there. Todd's back there racing right now. He is behind Celine Roland in 3rd as they clobber that curbing. And that's what Sparky and some of the guys in the garage area are talking about. You can use the curbing here at IMS in the quick, flat, tight corners to get the car to rotate. But, boy, you don't want to use it in the longer arcing corners because if you put too much wheel on those curbs, you can lose that thing. So Gresham Wagner doesn't mind using them up. He has got some ground to play with here. The lead grows. Last time by to 2.5 seconds. Willikers. That is a big race lead for Gresham Wagner as he has Celine Roland right behind him. Todd Lamb in 3rd. Jared Thomas, Michael Carter, Robert Nowaker. They're all trying to sort themselves out right now. There you see a great shot of them. They're all behind third place Todd Lamb. Looks like Noaker now up to fourth in that black and white two-tone car. And then it's going to be Carter behind him, Stout behind them. It's the Soul Red paint scheme on the scholarship shootout winning car of Jared Thomas. So second, third, Noaker fourth, Carter fifth, Stout sixth, Thomas seventh. And then I think that's Nico Rieger right behind them as well. Yeah, Rieger fighting to get into this battle as well as they come down the front straightaway. First, second, and third running calmly all by themselves right now, but fourth on back is a battle. Noaker has Carter right behind him. Stout, oh boy, I think that time both Gresham Wagner and Celine Roland dropping the outside tires off of the exit of 2, trying to get back over to the left side of the track to set up for turn number 3. Man, Carter and Robert Noaker are having a good go of it here in fourth place. They come down Holman Boulevard. Let's see if Carter takes a look to the inside going to turn number 6. Jared Thomas right behind Robert Stout as well. So you've got 2 different battles going on. One for fourth, right there, Noaker and Carter, and then one for fifth. What would be 6th right behind them? That would be Stout and Jared Thomas. So good battles all throughout the top 10 here as we near the end of round 3 here in MX5 Cup Racing. If you're watching or listening live, folks, we'd love it if you'd give us a share or a shout-out on that social media, maybe your Facebook, maybe your Twitter, your Instagram, your MySpace, whatever you're using. If you're watching the racing, we sure would like to get a lot more people tuning in to enjoy this broadcast and this awesome wheel-to-wheel racing that MX5 Cup Racing puts on. So check us out. How can you find out? You can go to Mazda MX5 Cup on Twitter. And I believe you just go to globalmx5cup.com, you go to the live timing page, and there's a window right there. You just hit play. It's that little triangle. It's play. It represents moving forward. You click that, you watch the broadcast, and you're taking in this world-class racing. So just check it out. Give it a watch. See what's going on. Jared Thomas, he's trying to see what's going on right behind the car in front of him. That is going to be Robert Stout. The problem is you've got 2 Roberts right next to each other battling for position, and they kind of have similar-looking race cars. Noaker is in that white and black car in front of Michael Carter, and then you got Robert Stout in the all-white car, who looks maybe now to have no, he's still got Jared Thomas right behind him. Yeah, there you go, right there. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th are all over each other right now, coming out of the chicane down Holman Boulevard. Gresham Wagner, I can't believe how big of a lead he's got. He's about to make this race pretty boring. But the good news is he's got Celine Roland behind him. He's in his own zip code. Todd Lamb is standing on a provisional podium right now. Noaker, Carter, Stout, Wagner, and Rieger. They're not even fighting for a podium right now. But every point in this championship battle means something, especially when you look at the money that the guys at Mazda Motorsports are paying out. To win the ND2 championship this year in the Battery Tender Global Mazda MX5 Cup Championship, $200,000 in career advancement scholarship money goes to this year's champion in ND2. $60,000 goes to second place. That's right, folks, $60,000 in career advancement scholarship money goes to second place. What about third place, you say? $25,000. 4th place, they're not leaving empty-handed either. $13,500 and $10,000 to 5th place. I threw the packet down because that's a lot of money. Rookie of the year, highest finishing rookie, Michael Carter. He was Rookie of the Year. Or no, actually, yeah, he was. Michael Carter was Rookie of the Year, and he was also a scholarship shootout winner. $75,000 goes to this year's Rookie of the Year. That'll be applied to their 2021 Global MX5 Cup budget. What about the second place rookie in the season? $25,000. $12,000 goes to the 3rd best finishing rookie, $8,000 to the 4th best finishing rookie, and $5,000 to the 5th highest finishing rookie. Mazda, they're just throwing money at these MX5 Cup drivers, I swear. And then in ND1, that's the older version of this Global MX5 Cup car. $35,000 will be applied to their 2021 Global MX5 Cup budget, $25,000 to the runner-up in the ND1 championship, and $10,000. I would add up how much money that is, but we don't have that much time, and I don't have that many fingers. That's a lot of money that the guys and girls over at Mazda Motorsports are putting back into the pockets of MX5 Cup and grassroots racers. I've said it 1,000 times, there is not an auto manufacturer, there is not an OEM that is doing for racing and for up-and-coming drivers what Mazda does, bar none. There is no OEM, there's no auto manufacturer that does it. I'll argue that any day. These Mazdas love racing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Carter swinging back down low on the exit of 14 to run right behind Todd Lamb. This is the battle. Or no, I think that's a little bit farther back. Let's see who we're watching right here. That's a fight going down in turn one. No, that is Michael Carter going around Todd Lamb. Michael Carter gets the job done before they even get to the opening corner for another lap. Carter around the number 84 of Todd Lamb, and that is thanks to a flying lap. Carter just clicked off a minute 40.896. That is the quickest lap of this race, and that is the first driver to get below a minute 41. Carter is our first and currently only driver to run a lap time with a minute 40, and then the change behind it. Everybody else is in the minute 41s right now. Super fast lap for Carter, man, that's what allowed him to reel in Todd Lamb. And I'll tell you what, I think some of these MX5 Cup guys would tell you that, when you're running in a pack, you're tunnel vision. You're glued in, and you're braking as late as the guy in front of you. You're trying to keep the driver right behind you where he's at. I think sometimes running alone can be a little bit of a detriment to your lap times, and maybe that's what we saw happen to Todd Lamb. His last lap time was a minute 42.195. Everybody around him was in the minute 41s or quicker. Now Lamb's got to deal with Robert Nowaker. I think that's what happened to Lamb, honestly. Unless we missed something where he might have dropped the tire, I doubt very highly a guy like Lamb misses a shift. I think maybe just running alone, sometimes you get out of that, hey, attack, and I think Lamb fell victim to Michael Carter, who was reeling Lamb in for the last couple laps. Carter, it didn't hurt him to go purple, minute 40.896. He's the only driver in that second bracket right now, minute 40. Everybody else is in the minute 41s. Carter moves up to P3 on your live timing and scoring. You see it right there. Now, Nowaker down to the inside of Todd Lamb in turn one. Nowaker's there. Todd Lamb doesn't want to give it up, though. Todd Lamb trying to fight hard on the inside. He's able to hold off Nowaker, but back to the inside in 4. Nowaker to the inside. Todd Lamb's going to continue to try to fight on the high side. He can't do it. Nowaker now around Todd Lamb. So move Nowaker up a position to P4. Todd Lamb loses 2 positions in 2 laps as he will go from 3rd to 5th as we near 10 minutes to go in this one. Intensity starting to pick up. Gresham, Wagner, and Celine Roland, boy, they are gone. They are just leaving them right now. But 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, not over. Not by a long shot. This is the fight for the final step on the podium right now. Carter's got Nowaker, Lamb, Robert Stout, Jared Thomas, and Nico Rieger all lined up right behind him. Bumper to bumper. And still outside of 10 minutes to go. That's plenty of laps of racing left. And we've even seen the leaders, okay? We've seen Wagner. We've seen Celine Roland. We've seen these guys run a little bit wide on corner exit and drop a tire. Now, Wagner, albeit, has had a big enough lead to not let it affect him too much. But, man, back in this pack right here, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, you drop a tire, you lose any momentum in these MX5 Cup cars. And you might get freight trained. You really have to keep these things wound up at all times. In these MX5 Cup cars, these roadsters are all about momentum. They punch a big hole in the air. You're going down a long front straightaway like the one we've got here at IMS as they streak across the yard of bricks. You got to maximize all your momentum because if you give it up, man, it's going to take you a while to build it back. So 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, they can't afford to give anything up right now. This is super close. There you see dust right there. Roland drops a tire on the exit of 2. He's okay right now. He's got a big lead. He can give up a half of a tenth or a tenth here and a tenth there. But when you're back there behind him, living where Carter, Nowaker, Lamb, and Stout are, you can't afford to do it. And these guys are so locked in right now. And to those of you watching at home, I wish I could convey just how fast this track really is. I don't think the cameras do it any justice. Like I said, we took a lap in the pace car yesterday with Gail Truess, the official pace car driver for both the Road to Indy as well as the Road to 24 MX5 Cup. And she was doing 60, guys, and we were getting thrown around the place, hitting the curbs, going from the left side of the track, diving into a right-hand corner, and these drivers are averaging. They're averaging 75, 80 miles an hour, and they're doing a lot quicker than that through some of these corners. So I'll tell you, MX5 Cup Racing, I think it looks easy on TV, and it's not. Because these guys get side by side, because they can run nose to tail, because they're dive bombing each other, because they're throwing haymakers every corner. I think it gets this reputation of, no, it's not. This is some extremely physical, close, and intense racing. And we're going to see a lot more of that in these final 10 minutes, as well as our second 45-minute race a little bit later on today. There's a live look down the front straightaway. Carter and Noaker, they have started to check out. There's Todd Lamb and Robert Stout. Lamb is starting to fade a little bit here. You wonder if maybe it's a tire issue, if it's a car issue. Not sure what's going on with Todd Lamb, but he's now in the clutches of Robert Stout. This would be the battle for fifth position. Stout in that all-white, number 3 for White Racing, trying to get around for fifth position. Field exit 4. They hit the left-hander 5. The right-hander 6. They run down Holman Boulevard. Noaker trying to do whatever he can as we hit the 10-minute mark here in round 3 of the 2020 championship. And I'll tell you what, I don't know about you guys, but as weird as 2020 has been, it's honestly really nice to get to come back to a racetrack, or maybe if you're at home and you're watching on Global MX5 Cup right now, it is really nice to sit and just watch something normal, some close, awesome, fun, wheel-to-wheel MX5 Cup racing. Got to give a big shout-out to the guys at Pro Racing Group for bringing us this broadcast. We didn't have it at Road America. Not sure when we're going to get it again. We're benefiting from Indianapolis Motor Speedway and their cameras around the track. And JP Mantrola, Kieran Guild, and the guys at Pro Racing Group showed up and put together a broadcast absolutely last minute. And I'll tell you this, it sure is helpful because you can't see anything besides the front straightaway here in the PA booth at IMS. Oh, trouble. Is that Stout? Stout is off in 1. Robert Stout misses the braking point and runs wide in turn 1. He's going to give up quite a few positions. Your 2017 race winner here sends it off the course, getting into the opening corner, and Stout is going to fall from a battle for what would have been 5th place and drop back to, it looks like, 8th. Yeah, Nico Rieger, Jared Thomas are all going to move up a spot. Thankfully, Stout had a bit of a cushion, but it looks like perhaps maybe due to a braking issue getting down into turn 1 at the end of that long front straightaway, Stout will fall out of the top 5 battle. Look at the clock now, 8.5 minutes to play. If Stout digs here and the guys in front of him, namely Todd Lamb, Jared Thomas, and Nico Rieger, get a little fancy with each other, Stout can still get back up there. But definitely not the mistake that he needed. Robert's dad, Ken Stout, maybe one of the most recognizable voices in motorsports announcing, is here this week, and he's up on the roof, up on the bleachers, spotting for Robert. And I'll tell you what, it's great to have the Stout family at all these MX5 Cup races. Robert's been on the MX5 Cup series as long as I have. His first season was 2017 when he won the Rookie of the Year scholarship for $75,000. And Stout's been here every year on the MX5 Cup since 17. He's swapped teams from McCumbee McAleer, going over to the Northern Colorado-based White Racing operation under Bruce White. Also sees drivers Luke Ochsner, as well as team owner Bruce White's son, Brandon. And I know we got one other guy that I'm missing on White Racing. Brandon White, Luke Ochsner, as well as Matt Dirks. I apologize. The number 76 of Matt Dirks showing up as White Racing on the timing and scoring monitor. So White Racing expanding to a 4-car operation here in 2020, and really glad to have Robert back on the series for another year. The road to 24, it's Mazda's plan to grow North American Endurance Sports Car Racing, and the champion of this every single year gets that $200,000 scholarship. They win the Road to 24 scholarship, and they move up. Brian Ortiz, last year's champion for Copeland, found himself with the opportunity to race in the IMSA series. That didn't materialize, so they sent him over to SRO. He's been racing over there. I want to say I'm not sure. I don't even want to say because I'm not positive the model of car he's in. But Mazda stepped up and said, all right, you won MX5 Cup in 2019. You're going to go to the next step. Patrick Gallagher, your 2017 series champion, he got a ride with Chad McCumbee, co-owner of McCumbee McAleer Racing, the team he raced for in 2017. And won that championship with. Patrick and Chad got a chance to go race in what was the IMSA Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge back then. It's no longer that doesn't exist anymore. It's been renamed, been rebranded. But Patrick and Chad got to go race, at Daytona. They got to go race at Sebring. They got to go race at all these endurance sports car racing meccas, thanks to Mazda stepping up and going, "Hey, we believe in you. We believe in your talent. Let's get you to the next level." And same with Nico Rieger. He had the chance after 2018 to go run in an LMP3 car with Mazda Motorsports at IMSA. So, Mazda's one of the only groups right now stepping up and putting their money where their mouth is, I think. And it's really, it's in racing, it's refreshing to see, I think. Minute 40.896, still the fastest lap for Michael Carter. Nearing the end of this one, 5 minutes to go, not a lot of time left. Gresham Wagner has turned this one into a Snorefest, 4.2 seconds. Back to Celine Roland. There you see Roland right there. Our cameras can't even capture the race leader and second place in the same shot. One car going a lap down to Gresham Wagner here, as Wagner doing a good job. Normally on road courses this long, this big, lap traffic isn't always something we get into unless there's been an incident, unless there's been an off, or maybe a penalty or pitting for damages. Looks like Gresham has done a really good job of handling lap traffic. He gets around. That puts just a little bit more distance between he and former Rookie of the Year Celine Roland. Roland in second, Michael Carter third, Noaker fourth, Todd Lamb P5, Jared Thomas sixth, Rieger seventh. Robert Stout was battling for fifth before he missed the breaking point. I assume that's not for certain what happened. It's just what it looked like on the monitors. Stout currently 8th. Matt Dirks, his teammate in white racing, is 9th. Peter Enzer rounds out your top 10. Zach Lee right there on the edge of cracking the top 10. The driver, the number 48 from McCumbee McAleer Racing, is 11th. Jackson Robillard, his teammate, is 12th. Bashura 13th. Piscatel and Auctioner complete the top 15 here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Gresham Wagner out of 2. Through 3, dives into turn number 4 right there. Exits 4, sets up for the chicane, gets back over to the right-hand side of the track, hits the curb left, hits the curb right, gets onto Holman Boulevard, slowly moves his way over to the right-hand side of the track to set up for that next left-handed corner, turn number 7. And I'll tell you this, I think he could push in the clutch and just coast. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't advise it. We've still got over 3 minutes to go in this race. This is where it gets to the end, and I'm always trying to do math. And I'm trying to figure out, okay, 3.5 minutes to go, minute, 40 lap times. How many laps is that left? And then I just wait for timing and scoring to tell us because they're really good at that. But the drivers come out of the infield, back onto the oval, off of turn 11. They'll set back up for the final complex of corners. The right-hander 12, the long bending left-hander turn 13, and then that final corner along the pit wall that spits you back out onto the front stretch. Turn number 14. Wagner's going to come along here. We're going to take a look onto the starting stand. See Aaron Likens. He should be giving him 2 to go this time by. And indeed, 2 laps remaining for Wagner. I don't know. I told Wagner, I said, make this race exciting for me, man. And he didn't listen. I'm bummed out about that. But boy, has he and Celine Roland absolutely solidified what Nathaniel Sparks wanted to do at the end of 2019 when he left Six Sideways Racing to go and make his own team. You saw one car right there hitting the flashers. That's an old sports car endurance trick to try to distract the driver in front of you. You start flashing your lights in his mirrors. He's looking back, might miss his breaking point. Who knows? I want to say that looked like the Soul Red 96 of Jared Thomas hitting the flashers. Not sure. But boy, there he is right there, folks. Gresham Wagner and his teammate from Spark Performance, Celine Roland. They are just rolling on to a round 3, 1-2 finish here. Michael Carter in third place. Robert Noaker, how close is he to the Savannah, Georgia driver? Can he make a move? Carter's a couple car lengths back. Carter's really going to have to get on his horse and ride here as they come to the white flag if he wants to make something happen for that final podium position. They snake through the S's. There's Carter in third, Noaker in fourth, Todd Lamb in fifth, Thomas in sixth. The lap traffic is in between Jared Thomas and Nico Rieger. Robert Stout still 8th, Dirks 9th, Peter Enzer in 10th. Drivers coming off, back onto the oval. I do believe we're going to see the white flag this time by. Let's take a look as they get ready to come back onto the front straightaway. Leaders out of 14. They'll make the run. Here it is, white flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Gresham Wagner, he's been perfect all race long. He just has to hit his marks 14 more times, and he will get out of round 3 here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with a victory. And Celine Roland could bring home a very impressive 1-2 finish for Spark Performance in only the team's second weekend, third race on the road to 24. The Battery Tender Global MX5 Cup presented by BF Goodrich. Let's see Wagner coming out of 4, down the short chute, over the curbing, off of 5 and 6, down Holman Boulevard. He just has to keep it on the pavement, and he's going to get out of here with a victory. And I do believe it would be Gresham Wagner's first victory in the Battery Tender Global Mazda MX5 Cup presented by BF Goodrich. Don't want to jinx him. He's just got to get home. Through the S's now. Out of 7, over the right-hander in 8, uses all of the curbing, through the left-hander, turn number 9. He'll set up for the right-hander, turn number 10. Car gets a little squirrely under braking, but he keeps it pointed in the right direction. Wagner out of 10. He'll set up for 11. This is the corner that puts you back on the short chute, on the oval here at IMS. You're on the oval for just a moment. You set back up. You dive down into the right-hander. Turn number 12. Now only 2 corners remain. Spark Performance, Gresham Wagner, Celine Roland getting ready to lock up the team's first victory, the team's first 1-2 finish in only their third outing. Through 13, out of 14, back onto the oval. There's lap traffic. Gresham Wagner out of the final corner, down the front straightaway. All that's in front of him now is the yard of bricks and the checkered flag. Ladies and gentlemen, Gresham Wagner is your winner today at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Round 3 goes to Wagner and Spark Performance here at IMS. Wagner gets it done. Celine Roland, the driver out of Orlando, Florida, in the number 87, will hold on to finish in second, giving Nathaniel Sparks and his team a 1-2 finish the world's greatest race course. Michael Carter will finish in the 3rd position. 4th place goes to Robert Noaker. Your championship point leader has a strong top 5 finish here at IMS. Todd Lamb holds on with an ailing car to finish in 5th. Thomas, the lone driver from the great state of Indiana and your scholarship shootout winner, will finish in 6th position. Rieger, the 2018 series champion, is in 7th. Stout, tough break for Robert Stout. As he was running right there near the top 5, is going to end up 8th. Matt Dirks, 9th. Peter Enzer comes home in 10th. Jackson Robillard saves his best lap for last as he finishes 11th, as does Bashura, Piscatel, and Luke Oxner. Good rebound for Luke in that number 77 after the off, back before the halfway point. Zach Lee rounds out your top 15. Brian Hickson comes home 16th. Liam Snyder, 17th. John Giesbray, 18th. Brandon White, 19th. And Brandon Collins rounds out your top 20 here today in round 3 of the Battery Tender Mazda Global MX5 Cup presented by BF Goodrich. So once again, congratulations to Gresham Wagner, your winner, Celine Roland in 2nd, and Michael Carter coming home in 3rd. We're going to head to Victory Lane and celebrate with our podium finishers. Folks, be back a little bit later on today here on MX5Cup.com as we have race number 2, the 4th round of the 2020 season, set to go live just a little bit before 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here at IMS in just a few hours.